Hello, guys. It's what I want to talk about here. It's really about our life. And since I'm from the village, this one will be called a village life. It's tough. That is just a perception, though. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about right now. I just know I gotta do it. I have fears of how my English sounds like because I'm from Slovenia. It's a small country in Central Europe. It's not Slovakia. It's not, whatever you think it is, close to Russia or something. No, it's right next to Italy, Austria, Croatia. It has 2 million people. It's like a cheap Switzerland. Super beautiful, clean, sophisticated place. Now, when I moved to LA, got a lot of laughs in my own self on that account. Of course, I'm always from Russia, based on my Slavic accent, since we speak Slovene, and that's as old as Russian language. But what I want to do here is share my story and my personal growth to maybe help you understand yourself through me. Since we are all mirrors and reflections of each other. And since I'm from the village, and if I would never learn the language, the English language that is, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have any access to like spiritual mental health whatsoever, except the church. Of course, great. But I do feel like there are some limited beliefs there in religion, depends on a person though. You can always take something from everything, right? And build something even more beautiful. Find a third truth, maybe, it's like you don't have to find a compromise. You just take two things. Let's say you argue with your partner. You have two different opinions or two different needs, let's put it that way. So if you have two different needs, you don't have to find a compromise. That means you're gonna lose something. Like, you don't want to lose anything, so you just give a clear message of what your need is, and then you find the third option that fulfills both of your needs. So, if you want to go to the trip to Italy and the other partner is, I don't know, more for skiing, and you can say, oh, well, we're not going to go for the whole week. In Italy, we're going to go just for 4 days, and then we can go skiing for 2 days, because that's how our budget will allow us to do both. And then you're like, oh, okay, not a compromise. But yeah, those are things that if I wouldn't learn English, I wouldn't really get that knowledge. Like, what? From where? Okay, maybe from the movies with subtitles. They do change the subtitles in a way that it's appropriate for the culture you are from, and I don't know. I am a musician, a singer, and basically what got me out of the dungeon there is lyrics. Lyrics from like Erykah Badu, Joe Scott, Lady C, Rachel Farrell. You know, there's all these beautiful, empowering women that are writing lyrics straight from their souls. Pure source, souls. And they were saying things that I knew they're right, but when I looked around in Slovenia, I was like, I don't see one woman doing that stuff. Like, there's no, at least, you know, when I was there still 10 years ago, 11, there was no self thinking, like, or how do you say that? Like, we are basically there just little, you know, pussies from men, and it's a man's world. It is changing. I'm not saying it's like this right now, but just whatever the situation was then. And then imagine, okay, if we are how do you say, if we are shaped in our first 3 years, which I deeply believe that's what it is, and you probably can find that out yourself if you do a little deeper research. After years of research, yeah, it always comes around. So basically, first 3 years creates who you are, and then they create all your trauma, you know, PTS they like to call it. And then the rest of your life you're dealing with this fucking shit. You know, it's a snowball effect, and if you are not ready to look at those things, to look at the shadows, do the shadow work or whatever they say, she's gonna become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, you know. Then people are depressed, they're not in touch with themselves, they feel stuck, they're ill, all that jazz. It's probably because of the traumas, because we were suppressed, our emotions were suppressed, we were abandoned. I mean, me personally, I have big abandonment, sorry. Abundance too, like in many forms, but abandonment, like on all the levels, emotional, from my parents, like, or anybody really, like, it doesn't exist. There's no understanding. There was no understanding in these times, in 90s, 200s, you know, where when I was a kid, of emotional support yet. Now it's probably there, hopefully. Not really in those rural areas, not in villages. In cities that's changing. That was, maybe you had few families in the 50s too, because maybe not. Maybe because parents were artistic or just smoke enough weed that it didn't hurt the child. But there was no emotional support whatsoever, no understanding of emotions. I think we're just, as collective consciousness, we're just finally moving into this stuff, right? So there was a big abandonment. No one will support your feelings. And I'm not judging it. It's okay, you know? We basically if you are 30 or more or less, somewhere there, if you're from a village especially, you're basically fucked. Fucked. Maybe even more than people from the city, because I'm not comparing, but it's just, you know, the mindset, it's more traditional, and we just get stuck in that shit a little longer. It's okay. It's all right. What else would I like to talk about? So abandonment, emotional abandonment. There was a lot of sexual abuse for me, for example. Like, it's normal that my grandpa would look at me in my boobs. It's normal. What? And like commented, you know, rest in peace, grandpa. I love you. But motherfucker. And then, like, because I was singing since I was little, I was always exposed to people even more, maybe, you know. So to tell you my story, I started singing very early, and that kind of gave me opportunity to travel at least once a year into the country that I didn't know, and without my parents, but in the custody of like choreographer who was also going there with dancers. So that really gave me a lot of freedom to observe, you know, different countries like Poland or Bulgaria or Morocco or Russia, or like Russia was a big thing. Imagine, I'm like 9 years old. I'm flying 6 hours there to this a remote country that I admire like all others, because I love history and I was always like a little geek, you know, like that. Oh, then I had this huge suitcase. It was all very fascinating, different world. You're just observing these cultures without any hardcore opinion, without your parents telling you, be careful. You just are. It's like freedom, man. Which I was privileged to have through music, because nobody does that from a small village in the middle of nowhere, you know. You're like, we call it Bogus Legima. That means you're like behind the god's ass. Yeah. Anyway, so because I was singing, that always gave me a lot of opportunities to meet different people, to perform. Like, I was performing maybe at least once a week with my big Fender, cute, huge, enormous speaker that I would push and put a CD component on it, put my music on, because I had my own songs, because my mom's cousin, like second cousin, was a producer, so that's how it started. He heard me singing, he was crying, it was so beautiful, okay, you know, let's get her singing, yay. It was super nice. And my parents were not like, you know, they were they're simple people. My mom passed on the other side, she's there, hey mom, but my dad is alive on this earth, doing his own thing. And so they never pushed me into things. They were just, we're gonna support you, because when my brother was young and little, he actually had herpes on his vocal cords. They didn't know that, but they were going to the doctors all the time, cutting his vocal cords because they thought they were cysts. He couldn't talk for 2 weeks, 2 months, like at least once a year or more. It's like he had all this crazy stuff and narcosis that would destroy his memory, so then he couldn't study, and my father would kick his ass because of that, and I was suffering watching this shit. Like, what is going on? People are still like, not too much. He did it. I think he did it. I mean, not too much. What am I saying? You see, he did it maybe a few times, and I felt terrible, man. But those are all traumas we get from this village life. It's all normal to go to the sexual abuse. What else is normal? So because I was around all these people, like, you're 10 years old, there's like 60 years old man standing right next to you and like touches you, like touches your butt, or is looking at your boobs and gives you a sexual comment, like, and my father would tolerate that. It's normal. They would all laugh about it. He would actually do similar thing, like kind of commenting. He was always like, no, I would never do something, but he's still commenting. It's disgusting. Society accepts that, tolerates it still till this day. If you go to the village where I'm from now, they be like, of course, what are you talking about, you little pussy, well, if you wonder why I moved away, I mean, not just because of that. Of course, there's always expansion. We're learning, we're growing, we're trying. I mean, I'm learning, I'm growing, sorry. Trying to understand what else is there. Because I was sure that there's more than what they introduced to me in a beautiful village life. But yeah, as much as it's like crazy and people don't really understand how much damage are they doing to themselves. And I mean, I would talk with my cousin. She's like 15 years younger than me. No, even more. She's 18 years younger. Her teacher is actually sexually harassing her. And she's afraid to do it. One of my aunties is beaten from her husband, but she would never say anything. Like, this is, I can't even like do anything because people are just, it seems like they're so delusional that when you introduce an idea of a self-love and self-care and just common sense, I would say, of loving yourself, that I'm still discovering, by the way, because I mean, if I was, if my upbringing was village life shit, it's like, I don't know. What do you do? How do you, like, I mean, I give my cousin support. I talk to her. I try to convince her, go grab your mom, go to the social worker. And she's like, like my schoolmates will look at me weirdly then if they kick this guy out, this teacher. Well, is it better that he's looking at you weirdly every day when you have a class with him, or your schoolmates? Like, and then she's like, whoa. But I know it takes so much bravery. I didn't even realize. So the sexual abuse I've been through, I'm 36 now, and I'm finally realizing how much shit there was. Maybe since 30s, I'm like slowly like realizing that stuff. And my girlfriends basically, that are not from the village, kind of gave me a few clues eventually, like when I would tell them some stories, or when they would see how men are treating me, or how my friends are talking to me. They were like, "Hey, yo, bitch, bring me the," it's like, it's very like a hood style, gangster shit, kind of. I mean, just different. uh I I don't I didn't know. Honestly, of course you cry, you feel disgrace and disrespect for yourself. And then I looked at other patterns. Of course, I'm smoking, I was drinking, because drinking is, by the way, a normal part too. Like, you wake up in the morning, my grandparents would call, and it's called an aperitivo, right? The schnapps or rakia, or like, some hard liquor in the morning. They would call it the toothpaste. I thought it's a very cute tradition, because of course, if you're in a village, right, you wake up in the morning, do a short one, then you work on the field the whole day. So yes, I get it. I guess that's how people been through that hardcore life. But there are different times now, and I really hope these habits can slowly, I'm like hiding my boobs because I didn't put my bra on. Whatever. Yeah. It's a very traditional lifestyle that maybe doesn't serves us anymore, and it's still, I understand it's a transition, but if anybody is listening that's like of a younger generation, or even older, I don't care really, whoever, like, maybe think about those things. Maybe they don't serve us anymore, right? I honestly didn't think about it when I was there. Before I didn't, and then I moved to LA. It kind of gave me a better perspective to, when you go away, it's easier to see things that are harmful. Harmful. Try to say parallel. That's a word too. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And let's say that's just life. I mean, I'm trying not to judge anything. I'm trying to talk about it, so maybe we all get more awareness of things. But yeah, if you like what I'm doing here, please support, come back, let's have a conversation, comment. You have similar experiences, I don't know. Next time I'll put some makeup on so I look better. But yeah, people, I think it's important that we all understand that nobody is alone in shit you've been going through, like, and that we all have awareness of some things, and then we need other people to give us awareness of other things. Maybe sometimes, of course, our belief system is a motherfucker that we're trying to get out of it, or change it, or acknowledge what doesn't serve us anymore and let it go. And I guess I'm just trying to help myself and others here too. That's what we're gonna do. Let's hang again. Have a good week, and thanks for being here.